Late September 2024 with the Lovelocks of Sunninghill. Rough cut photo trails. And as I always say, they will be rough cut. I'm grabbing the chance before rain, I hope. And here is where we live at 22 Armitage Court, Sunninghill, with warning signs about fierce guard cats. This place was once known as Robin's Corner, where GPS was tested from the late 1980s down at this spot, with a bit of garden sculpture. I see that needs a bit of adjustment. Duke got that for a birthday present several years ago. There's the oak tree that sprang up from an acorn. Yes, that place there was intended for owls. The only occupants have been guard cats occasionally. Here's the robot boat on 24/7 test. Snoopy the Viking at the front, and this is all going very well, and the photo trails show that. So the power system seems to be fine and coping, and this might be where I cut into a clip shot, I don't know, a week ago, which actually shows you the nitty-gritty of the boat, so might go into that now. If you've got any opinions, you may want to help testing of the boat. Now, just for this filming, I took the lid off, the electronics and other bits and pieces, and put on this text-to-speech unit, and this was just for shooting this clip, and hopefully we won't get any rain in the next few minutes. So what I'll do is I'll switch on this, and it'll go through a startup of waggling the rudder first of all, and then speaking through the text-to-speech.
Snoopy's X28X2 GPS only autopilot. Software version Romeo. Last update 6th of December 2017.
6th of December 2017.
45 seconds. Target Alpha, 11 kilometers, at 349 degrees. GPS course 147, speed 0.0 knots, left 158.
Yes, the software hasn't been changed all these years. The main thing I've been doing, and it's shown the nitty-gritty in the photo trails, is trying to find out.
8 seconds. Target Alpha, 11
Yes, it's going on a bit interrupting, isn't it? Let me just switch it off for this. And I'll unplug the text-to-speech, which is only used for, and that's the text-to-speech cat. Now I'll switch it on now. Oh, there's a bit of wildlife there. Look, bee coming. Hello, Toadie. You want to help with this? You can't hold the camera for me, can you? What are you looking at now? Something or other. Yes. Yes, what I've been spending time on is these batteries here. If you do the simple arithmetic, they should be good without the solar panels working at all, in other words completely covered. Those should be capable of running the power, the total electronic system for probably 5 or 6 days at least. So it's not able to do that, and that's what I've been spending the time over the last few weeks, and of course in the process finding lots of silly mistakes, badly soldered joints or bad wiring, whatever. And of course the other important thing is occasionally it's the components that need fixing, and it's all done by measurement. Right, loads and loads of talking, so let's make sure that's in the dry. Right, that'll do. I'll come back and do that properly. I'll take that with me as well. Right, so yeah, I'll leave. Toadie, keep an eye on the boat, won't you? Yes, thought you would. Okay, that was then. This is being shot on, what day is it, Thursday? Late September. Right, we're coming down the drive here, and before we go in there, quick glance Yes, we had a bit of rain earlier and more rain is coming in. Yeah, there's where the guard cats sometimes hang out. So I might be going into other clips here, but the important one is I'll point out the warning signs in a moment. That's the camper that was used to take Snoopy's robot boat over there down to the sea for the last attempt. Here's the battle damage. June said Robin did it. Robin said the wall did it, but the wall is okay. And as I have to say more recently, everything I say, of course, just jokes, so you mustn't take them too seriously. But health and safety is quite important, and so I'll point out warning signs here, like hidden TV cameras, no trespassing, violators will be shot, survivors will be shot again. Just a joke, of course. And yes, various other things here, like the fairy from Christmas, flatulent fairy that is. There's peanuts everywhere, including the bird feeder. They've got to top up. And that's another camera picking up movements. So probably the most important signs are over. My study is behind there, and it says, "Do not disturb, I'm disturbed enough already." But perhaps the most important sign of the lot is this: home of ex-NATO scientist Robin Lovelock. Beware of web cameras and water squirters. Loaded with water, paint, acid, DNA tracer or nerve agent, Robin would not be mad enough to test these, or would he? Now, as it happens, Bentley, the senior guard cat, has just stalked up on me. Hello, Bentley. He's been training our cat in surveillance and guarding the premises for some years. You want to come in? Yeah, could be. He's just checking whether it's safe. And yeah, I think it's safe enough to go in. Is it safe, Bentley? Yeah, okay, let's go in carefully then. So, yeah, Bentley's coming in, June. Yeah, so I'll close that door there, should be safe. Bentley's prowling through to the games room, and he's probably on the lookout in case Toadie's in here. Now, as you can see, this room needs a bit of tidying up, but that's what these videos are all about, getting the right sort of help. So at the moment, because I've been doing work on the robot boat, a lot of the stuff hasn't been put away. Yeah, it's full of robot boats here. There's one of them. And here's another one. Bright Ideas from Russia, that one was. The sailing saucer. And yeah, bits. All a matter of things got to be put in the right place. And that's a little background activity. I see I've got to swap the battery on that. The most important thing is testing a servo to death. And this is test equipment just used for Bray Lake testing, including the camera. So that's a quick glance at that. Just one room. It would be nice to get all of this back to what it was decades ago, where we could use that as a snooker table and yeah, a dining table occasionally. So right, quick glance at the kitchen. And oh yes, Bentley's come in for a meal. There you go, Bentley. Yes, mind the hedgehogs, they do tend to compete for food, don't they? Yes. Bentley's eating. June's looks loading the dishwasher, and through. Yeah, that's my study. Quick glance at that. Yeah, absolutely immaculate. And yes, you can see the time there, and you might get a glimpse of a few old friends that got pictures up on the wall. Through, I often sign off with that picture, an expensive bit of artwork. Probably recognise the artist, Renoir, I think that is. Yeah, that's the little camera that I'm using for this. So into the lounge, and yes, Robin's naughty corner there, which I often use the back end of the day to relax. Look at the closed circuit TV here. And this is June's television. And I've got the video there on a website, which is predicted rain at 1800, 6 o'clock local time. And you can see it's only a few minutes away from that, so there are other slides showing you the nitty-gritty of that. So now I'm going to try and go out if I can, because this is also a snapshot of the garden, in this case at this time. Yes, peanuts left out for the foxes. The pond's a little higher right now. I can see that's got knocked into the water. Yes, some water's still coming off from the last bit of rain. We've got more rain coming in now. Looking at the direction of the cloud, it looks as though it's coming this way. So a quick run down the garden. And yes, my telescope that I haven't done anything on for years. When I do something, I'd probably put a webcam on it or something. Down here, lots of work needed. The easy work is cutting the lawn. And all the rain comes off the roof into the first pond, which then overflows through the stream into the next pond, which is here. Yes, it's got a little duck house, although I think it's unlikely. There's a feeder, it's probably empty already. And yes, there's the sundial, you see that. And yeah, June's she's agreed to this row's being cut right back at the right time of the year, so it's not obstructing the sundial. That's on the record, by the way. So then coming down the garden past the gunnerer, that is just about coming along nicely. That was bought several years ago. And then after that pond's full, it overflows down into, it's not a third pond, by the way. June said no, it doesn't want a third pond. It's a reservoir for the bog garden. And yeah, so the photo trails show what plants have been successful, and those which haven't, like the hawthorn that we planted. That one is okay, but not that one and one or two others. So I'm coming around here. Don't normally do a big tour here, but it can be useful, particularly for guys who might better help us. This is just the easy stuff, relatively speaking, which is the garden stuff. It all comes under the heading of property maintenance. Yeah, so there's a compost heap. There's junk, got to be thrown away, but there's some useful stuff amongst it, like ladders and things like that. Don't normally do this, but I'm going to use the opportunity while I can. Quick glance here. We've got hardly anything in this shed now, because the philosophy has been to put things in the open. Yes, there's solar power there. Coming up the garden. Yes, plants everywhere. So lawnmower, for example, there's a lawnmower. It's sheltered. There's a strimmer. So gradually have been getting, in the last year I suppose, creating the space to put things. This is the laboratory. No time to look around there, but other photo trails show it. And see the rain's going to come on any moment. And this is the so-called workshop area. Yes, there's lighting, solar powered lighting. Yes, a vice. Not sure whether that'll come out in this light. There's another light there. And so we're getting to the stage where we've certainly got the space to put things, but we still have to spend time. Let's turn these off again. And that one. Yeah, so things are gradually getting to the stage of we're ready for things to be sorted out and put in the right place. So tools and materials, there we go, is one category of things. But of course, that's just the easy stuff, like gardening stuff. When you come to hobby projects, that's something else. And robot boats is the obviously important one. But when it comes to clothing, we won't go upstairs. It may appear briefly on photo trails. Right, this is Bentley again. He's now patrolling around the pond. Now that is definitely higher than what it has been in the last few days. Yeah, there's just a trickle. That was from the last rain that was probably a couple of hours ago. And I can feel spots of rain coming on. So I'm going to do a quick run round here. And there's Bentley again. Hello, Bentley. And the work we did last winter did at least stop the water from going next door. Right, I can see it's coming on heavier. Yeah, that's right, Bentley, isn't it? Right, let's get into what will hopefully be dry. And sorry about the noise of aircraft. Right, you can see here spots of rain coming down. So that lot is going to hit us soon. Probably can't get through that door. No, at least I can. Right. So back into the games room. Yes. I think that's so loads of work needed. It's just a matter of doing things in the right order with the resources that you have. And yeah, just a glance of June relaxing in here, and that's it. I think you've done everything else now, so coming up to 6 o'clock, and that's it. There's the, we may as well, just for the sake of it, since weather is important for lots of things, I'll go back, I'll refresh that page, and that was a prediction. And of course there's a difference between the predicted weather and if we go back to the raw data of rain, that was the observed rain radar information. And yeah, enough details about that for the moment. So what I'll do now is go into those long photo trails. Hello, Bentley. Starting from here. So these long photo trails will last a while. Saturday, the 21st of September 2024, starting with a summary and Toadie on guard duty and then eating. Yes, a bit more work on the robot boat going on, checking voltages, getting information related to the power system and batteries, and a glimpse around the garden. Yes, a bit of maintenance there, something had fallen down. And that anniversary reminded me of my dad and visited the page with his history. And June rustled up food, and I take it into the naughty corner in the lounge where I can relax and look at the closed circuit TV. Yes, foxes coming at the front and the back, and a glimpse of a little mouse, all caught on the closed circuit TV. And earlier the heron, when I was looking for something else, I suddenly seen that the heron had visited. Main activity was the processing and upload onto YouTube of the mid-September 2024 video, and yeah, that involved coming down in the middle of the night. So that's the end of the summary. Now into the photos in the order they were shot, including tests on the boat power system, making a note of the time and the voltages. That's the boat inside at the moment because it's much easier to work on, and get some sun coming through the window, but yeah, it's all to do with checking of battery packs. And yes, Toadie's coming to have a snack. I take a few snaps around the garden. Yes, no rain in until recently, so the pond's very low. Yes, down the garden, just taking a few snaps. Record that the grass is getting very thick. It's all a matter of priorities, what jobs one can do. Looking down towards the end, looking up, and the gunnery, I don't know why I got my eyes shut. It was just when I was taking the picture, I must have blinked. And yeah, looking down towards the end in the reservoir for the bog garden. No, it's not a pond, number 3. And looking up, all overgrown. Sometime might better do a bit of work on the garden, but it's all a matter of priorities. Oh yes, I've seen that had fallen down, so I put that back up. Little PIR light. And oh yes, that's all incredibly overgrown now. Wisteria and grapes and figs, all sorts of things. All needs pruning and dumping down the end. Had a quick look around the edge, and June's greenhouse. Well, oh yes, and the hawthorn tree there. Yes, what a mess. That's the fennel, I think, wild fennel from Sicily. And there's Toadie, keeping an eye on what I was doing. Hello, Toadie. Back into the games room with the boat. Yes, Snoopy at the front. Snoopy 11, that is. And yes, and on the closed circuit TV I can see that the rudder's moving and see when it stops working, so that's useful. And it's all to do with checking out these different batteries, including the ones that are double packs, and checking them, see how long they run, and updating the documentation on the blog page, and yes, and emails with friends, and checking who's bothered to visit the page. And of course there's some people you pretty well know who it is, the fact that they do bother to visit. And no need to tell somebody that something's changed if you can see they've already looked at it. Yeah, so into the naughty corner, listen to the Radio 4 news. Oh yes, the anniversary of Arnhem, and reminded me of my dad, and looked on the family page, and the page set up for him. That was nice memories. Yeah, checking the voltages again, and the test rig, that's stopped now, so change the battery on that. That's testing a servo to death. That's charging batteries there. Oh yes, notice that hand has moved, so I top up the peanuts and then have a look at the closed circuit TV. I'm curious what had moved that arm, and yes, the fox had done it. Yeah, it was. And then there's a glimpse of a heron. Bloomin' heron. Yes. And that was at 6:29 GMT in the morning. Only for a few minutes, and then he flew off. And so that was useful to know that. And of course, yes. So, meanwhile, I've been called for dinner. So I get my food, curry I think that was, take it into the naughty corner in the lounge, and the video WhatsApp chat is then started. And I had this bright idea, and I did order it from June. I know I had a wobbly ball. We're talking about pool or snooker. Yes, the video chat's continuing with family, and Toadie's taken a slight interest. Update the documentation on blog 11. Check the visitors, and yes, the video chat continues. And what are we doing next? Yeah, yes, more checks on voltages and the time, all made a note of, and of course the photographs are an aid to my memory if I need to know. Listening to the Radio 4 news again, closed circuit TV check, or taking photographs from the previous checks. Foxes coming to the front porch and the top bridge just behind, through till 05:42 GMT when the camera switched to colour for the day. So now running back from midnight. Yes, again a fox. Young foxes, of course, new generation of foxes we've got. And at the back. And there's a little mouse. Yes. Caught on the front porch. And there's one on the top, on the roof. And yes, there's a fox. Through till 18:22 GMT when the camera switched to black and white for the night. So that's that done. And of course, meanwhile, there's the processing of video. It says it's done. So I can start the process of uploading it to YouTube. But after copying and yeah, some other checks going on at the same time, and I could see on the close-circuit TV when the boat stopped. So that's at 10:25. Again, charging batteries, swapping batteries around. So we end up getting conclusions where the components are okay, or whether I discover some wiring fault or something. So those tests continue, and yeah, look at video uploading. So I've started the upload onto YouTube, I think. So now I can go up to bed, but come back down again and basically check the video on YouTube. I was really pleasantly surprised, to say the least, that the decisions that have been made on what picture of all the thousands to choose they chose. So that looked good, and it had subtitles as well. So I updated the description to say, instead of saying the subtitles should soon be available, to say that they were soon available. Change that, were soon available. And yeah, so that's good. And yes, I did a few quick checks of some of the video, which all look good. Yeah, subtitles there. Yeah, you get the odd mistakes, but the main thing is they work a lot better than nothing. Through till the end. Interesting what videos they put up, thinking I might be interested in, but no time for that. Yes, an update to the public blog, blog 11, for those particularly on other time zones that might visit and say, oh, there's the video now available that you mentioned earlier. So then time for bed. So that's the end of the photo trail. Sunday the 22nd of September 2024, starting with a summary of the photos shot. Yes, that's Toadie, our guard cat, relaxing on one of the cars. Few snaps round the garden, just a record of where things were. Yes, everything overgrown, and of course a lot of nitty gritty of measuring voltages on the robot boat tests, which are all going well. And yeah, check the time, and Terry reminded me exactly where that talk on TSR2 was going to be given on the coming Tuesday. Yeah, June rustled up food. I took it into the naughty corner in the lounge where I could relax, watch the closed circuit TV, do the check overnight. Yes, foxes coming for the peanuts, and a glimpse of a little mouse, and lots of things seen on closed circuit TV. Yeah, June's watching Strictly Come Dancing. I take a walk, risking getting wet, into the Comrades Club. Didn't take many photos, but I had a very enjoyable time there, including playing pool. Not with those guys on the last photo trail. Made my way back in the pouring rain, and yes, rain radar confirmed it. And so I got home even though I was soaking wet, so everything had to be dried out. And yeah, checked the voltages. It was after midnight by then. And time for bed. That is the summary. So now into all the photos in the order they were shot, starting with a glimpse of the pond, starting to fill up because we've got a little bit of rain, but still very low at the time those photos were taken. Rain was mostly later in the day. So just a record of things, all overgrown. Yes, there's Toadie prowling around, following me, and looking up the garden. Yes, the wild fennel's coming along nicely, from Sicily that is, and now measuring voltages. Yeah, so what was that, after 12:30, those were the voltages on the boat. And yeah, processing the video, including putting a commentary on for the day before, as I am doing now. Closed circuit TV check, listen to the Radio 4 news. Yeah, you could see when the boat either stopped or didn't, which is all made a note of. Checking voltages, looking good. So the boat has continued to run just off one pack of batteries. So that looks like lunch, scrambled egg on toast with smoked salmon. Hey, a call from Terry. He reminded me exactly where that talk on TSR2 was going to be, and not where I thought. Yeah, it would have been okay if we'd used the sat nav, but yes, make a note of that. And yes, so again, checking voltages and all looking good. Yes, rain coming in, and yes, it's like Toadie's having his lunch. Yes, thinking about something. Oh yes, I was having to remind myself, and it could be made clearer, how far back that boat went, because over the years we've lost at least 2 boats, but Sloopy Snoopy 11 has been going for a few years, and obviously has to be worked on, replacing and repairing stuff. And it's looking very good. That test rig has stopped, and so a usual routine of popping in other batteries. It's mostly testing a servo to death, but in the process you also are able to check out the different brands and batches of batteries. What have I seen there? Oh yes, reminder that looking on the closed circuit TV I need to top up the feeder, and put rather a lot of that white bird seed, but it does seem to go, even though most creatures seem to prefer peanuts. Yes, some snaps around a very untidy, yes, a very untidy spare bedroom that is, and it's all women's clothes and things, isn't it? Or my clothes that should be thrown away. June could take responsibility for that. Listening to the Radio 4 news again, had a bit of a doze. I think I might have had an hour's doze then. Well, of course, it had been busy. And yeah, a few snaps around there. Yes, the test rig, another noting of the voltage. I'll make a note of these that end up going in the blog. Oh yes, that was another visit with a dog to the guy posting one of the political leaflets, and the doggy came out very nicely on that Ring camera as well. And it was another leaflet, and it wasn't identical to what they'd done, it was a different layout, and that's fine. Put it to the other political leaflets. They're all quite interesting. Yeah, so June's rustled up dinner for the evening. I take it into the naughty corner, and I'm able to do the closed circuit TV check or photograph the checks that I did earlier. And there we are, foxes both at the front and the back for the peanuts, of course. And there's a little mouse. Yes, a bit blurred, but you can recognise that's what it is. Through till 05:52 GMT when the camera switched to colour for the day. And now going back from midnight. Yes, foxes again. And through till 18:18 GMT when the camera switched to black and white for the night. Now better have a look at the rain radars, and they're different sites, and question is, fingers crossed I can walk down to the Comrades Club without getting wet. So we do a few checks. Yeah, 9:05. Yeah, looking good. The boat is maintaining power on just one pack of batteries and not getting a lot of light. Not as much as it would though outside, and certainly when the sun's out. June's watching Strictly Come Dancing, so I take a walk down through the village, or into the village, and the Comrades Club, and didn't take many photos but enjoyed the time there, particularly playing, yes, anybody could see where I was, playing pool, not with those guys, they're in the previous photo trial, but some other guys, and make my way back in the pouring rain. Yes, got wet there, and Tony was there to greet me on guard duty. Yes, so yeah, anybody could see where I was. I put that tracker on charge again for the night. Yeah, that's where I spent a bit of time. There's the rain radar. The observation I found more interesting because you could then run it forward by eye. But there you go. So yeah, 1 or 2 snaps of the boat, and the voltage, yes, after midnight there, 4.74 volts. Looking good, enough to keep it going. It will go until it drops down to about 4 volts, if it drops that far. So, time for bed, and that's the end of the photo trail. Monday the 23rd of September 2024. Started with a summary of the photo shot. Yes, Toadie and Bentley patrolling the premises, taking a particular interest in the black and white cat coming along, and also keeping an eye on the robot boat for me that's now out on test and doing well, checking the voltages regularly. And June is watching the tennis from China, which made me curious. I wonder how easily I can find out exactly where those tennis courts are. And I spent a little time, I found a wiki article, didn't find the actual location. June brought in my lunch and actually showed me, and then I could find it, and of course then look on Street View, and I noticed Street View for the whole of China are just individual photographs that have obviously been checked, rather than people gathering data by walking, cycling or driving around. No surprise, I guess. Yes, dinner at the back end of the day in the naughty corner, where I could look at the classic TV for the night before, including Foxes coming with peanuts at the front and at the back, and a visitor putting a political leaflet in. And yes, then live Foxes and on the Ring camera as well. Worked out nicely. June's watching the news. Time for bed, so that's the end of the summary. So now into the photographs in the order that I shot them, starting with Toadie looking out the front, and arrival of a package. Yes, those lead weighted balls. Have a bit of fun with those perhaps down at the Comrades Club. So where are you going to put them? So I put one where I can't miss it, and right, what else came? I'll check in voltages on the boat, and yes, that's another pack. Yeah, better label it. So we already have left hand side on that pack that's been working, and then very carefully solder in that new subsea pack. So I've just put it straight in. It's already at the necessary charge level, and at the end of the day we'll see how it works under test. Yes, use some PVC tape, put things back where I can find them for the moment, and looking at the time, and yes, voltages look okay. So we now have the boat with the, hello, yes, I couldn't find the cap that the text-to-speech hole was covered by. Anyhow, did the commentary for the day before, as I'm doing for today, and yes, so that cap, not sure what happened to it, it's got lost somewhere, so improvise with a bit of outside sticky tape. Measured voltages, yeah, it looks okay. So the boat goes outside and left on 24/7 static test, checking the time and measuring voltages, including where the volts come together and where the individual left hand and right hand side are. Obviously I make a note of that on paper, but these photo trails are also useful, and also people can look over my shoulder and notice my mistakes. And of course on the closed circuit TV I can see the rudder waggling, so I can see when it stopped, if it does, typically overnight, and make a note in my diary. And yeah, June's got the tennis in China on, so it didn't take very long to Google up where it was roughly, but then you say, well, where are the actual tennis courts, so you can look down on them and perhaps also look with street view at what the area is like. I did find a useful article in Wiki, and that actually had a picture, and you could see, it looks like a river in the background and a bridge, but there were so many tennis courts that were shown that I didn't know. June brought in my scrambled egg on toast and pointed out that she'd found it pretty quickly, so then I looked and I found the location. It seemed to match, and then I looked on Street View. Nice pictures, but all individual pictures that they'd obviously had time to check rather than, as I might have said, people driving around with bicycles and cameras and all the other gear. Anyhow, yeah, the spot tracker in the boat shows where the boat is, and then there was a WhatsApp video chat from Terry, and that worked well. It's basically on the subject of the TSR2 talk, about other things. Checking the boat again. Yes, Toadie keeping an eye on what was going on, and yeah, thought about document it, so made some updates to the website, including blog 11, linked off to the Snoopy page. Oh, that's when we had that interesting little encounter between pussycats. So all these little checks, some of those usually go in my diary as well, but you can imagine how long it would take to find that in a paper diary, and it may not be quite as entertaining. And of course the paper diary is not shared with anybody who cares to take an interest. Oh yes, that's the visitors to the updates, and that shows it clearly, and you can guess who those guys are, which is good, because you say, I don't need to send out a message to say I've changed and updated it, because they would have seen the last date and time. So what's that? Oh yes, that other product that had come, which is the translator. Doesn't look very good. It was cheap, but looks very nasty. But that's on the shelf. And yeah, check in voltages again and the time, 7:05 in the evening. Yeah, another update to the blog by the look of it. Yeah, put that picture there, labelled. June's watching Strictly Come Dancing now, I think, and she's rustled up food, which I take into the naughty corner in the lounge, sat looking at the closed circuit TV while I eat, and yes, there we go, a few visits by young foxes coming to the front, and Toadie hoping for a mouse, I suppose, through till 0600 GMT when the cameras switch, and then running back from midnight. Not much happening there that's different. That was me returning from the Comrades Club. There's a visitor from somebody popping a leaflet in, through till 1808 GMT when the cameras switched to black and white for the night. So that's that done. And listening to the Radio 4 news, and there live is a Fox after the peanuts, and there on the ring camera on my smartphone he is. June's watching the news. Time for bed. So that's the end of the photo trail. Tuesday the 24th of September 2024, starting with a summary of the photos shot. Yes, the highlight was the briefing on TSR2 attended by Terry and myself, and more photos of that later because that was at the back end of the day. Yeah, June and Samantha at tennis. I did the checks on the robot boat that's coming along very nicely, and the Sunninghill an Ascot mag arrived. Very good issue, and yeah, Toady relaxing, and women get back. Yes, there's a little Robin on the closed circuit TV watching, and had my scrambled egg on toast, and had to make sure I was well prepared, if that's possible, for getting to the briefing. Yeah, closed circuit TV check. Yes, foxes and things. Yeah, June had to top up the oil in her car. I had to run my car for a few minutes in the garage. Got me pasty, so we're ready to go off. But in fact, we decided we did have the odd 10 minutes to pop into the Bansals because we'd got a call from Pal. So we enjoyed that time there. There's Romeo and Raj, and yes, I shared my pasty with Romeo, just a little bit of it. And then I noticed, yes, I had a big rip in that pair of trousers that I'd been wearing, and dirt on my shirt. So June said, yo, you've got to go back and get changed. So I did, and we still had time, and so off we go. Yeah, then we got calls. Arrived, June dropped me off. Went in. I didn't take many photos there, but that was it. And yeah, Terry came back with us. So he's not on those pictures, but never mind. You'll see a glimpse of Terry in the pictures that I took. That was just the summary. So now into the photos in the order that they were shot. Yes, my naughty corner, Toady relaxing, and yes, I could see that the boat was still working after running overnight. So check the voltages on it, because it looks as though we've sorted the power problems, and the duplicated solar power seems to be working fine. So I checked the so-called left hand side or front, it's all labelled, and yeah, that all looked good. Ah yes, the magazine had arrived, Diana Dawes on the front cover, and that was fascinating. I see usual advertisers there, so that was well worth a read. Yeah, I was having a job finding my reading glasses. I got lots of glasses there. Anyhow, that was a thoroughly enjoyable look through the mag, and it reminded me of the visit that June and I took, and we'd put things on my walks page for those very few interested. So where else? Yes, I put that so that would catch June's attention when she got back from tennis, and I could see they were on their way from one of the trackers, so they'll be arriving soon. Yes, anybody could see where we are, or where our trackers are. Yeah, so there she is on her way back. It's only a few minutes from there back to where we are in Armitage Court. And yes, there's Toady. So I go out before they arrive, and there they are, arriving in Samantha's car that time, because June had to put some oil in her car. So yeah, take a quick look at the GoTop SOS tracker that June had been checking out. And yeah, June had a look at the magazine. Yes, I did the commentary on the day before, the Monday, as I am doing now for Tuesday. And lots of work going on, lots of mess, of course. I think I took a few snaps around the garden, just as a record of where things were in terms of water levels, because we'd had a bit of rain. And of course the plants. Yes, the grass definitely needs cutting. That's on the list of things to do, but other things take priority, particularly since I might have somebody to help me with the garden work. Oh yes, that hawthorn tree doesn't seem to have survived. That one has. So the hawthorn trees were a brilliant idea, but at the end of the day, at least a couple of them seem to have died, but we'll see. And yeah, looking around, that's one of the advantages of doing these tours. Also, useful information for anybody who was going to help us on whatever it is. Gardening work is the easy stuff. It's tidying things and putting things in the right place and deciding where to stick things. Yeah, Robin is often told where to stick things. Yeah, so that's the workshop area. No real changes there. But of course, one of the reasons I go out there, I'm looking for something else. And you think, I might have dropped it there, but while they're around it, take a few snaps. That's the laboratory, or the summer house. So eventually that will get things put in the right place for experimental work like the robot boat stuff and any other little technical projects. Yeah, don't forget that clock's in GMT. And yeah, working my way back. Yeah, June's greenhouse. And yes, what a mess, but then fine, she knows where things are. Coming around the side of the house, yeah, where I put in various materials, temporary solution of course, but practical one. And yeah, around to the dustbins and the catforts and Toadie relaxing on top of one of the cars. Hello Toadie. And there's the boat, so time for another check at the left hand side, right hand side, and combined power levels, time 1:45 BST, looking good. And yeah, may as well top up the peanuts. That's pretty well the last of the peanuts gone now. June has ordered some more and they should arrive in a day or two. All that water had gathered in that cover, and of course you empty it out and of course it splashes down on batteries and things there, but hopefully no problem. Yeah, a few snaps around there. It's all overgrown, and that is on the list of things to do, especially if I get some help. Now I'm hoping for that. Yeah, there it is, all massively overgrown. Wisteria, vine, grapes coming along now. Yeah, put what, nuts and ordinary bird feed, that white stuff, and a snail. I must keep that for my French friends. And what else have we got? Yes, look, at that's on the roof. And that untidy spare bedroom, if you call that, the access to the roof. Yes, I've mentioned that before. Somebody will help decide where to put things. It could go to a charity shop. And again, the record of the games room, and that's the test rig testing a servo to death, and that's working nicely. Servo hasn't failed. And listening to the Radio 4 news. There's a little Robin on the closed circuit TV. And there's Toadie. Ah yes, brief myself and remind myself on this talk we're going to. Make sure I have a £5 note in my wallet for paying the entry fee. I give Richard a call in case he wanted to attend. Yes, blank screen, not sure what that was. Check voltages on the boat. That was obviously about lunchtime after having my scrambled egg on toast. Yes, 3:05. And yeah, that boat's still good. And that's still good. And yes, I updated the blog for the microtransat. And I actually mentioned that fast thing because there's overlapping of hobbies. Guys interested in the robot boat project are interested in highly technical things. Some highly technical things were done many decades ago, pioneered at least. Yeah, that's the closed circuit TV check, looking for, yeah, foxes coming. That was running from midnight forward, foxes at the front and at the back. And oh yes, got a glimpse of that. And So, anything new there? 2 foxes. Yeah, I think they're family because they get on. And there's a glimpse of a little mouse. You don't see much more of his eyes, but of course when you're looking at video you can see the movement, and that tells you what it is. And there's me going out to do a bit of work, if you call it, on the robot boat. 1808 GMT is when the camera's switched. Yes, he said, but yes, helped June by unscrewing that cap. I did all that hard work, and June did the easy stuff of pouring the oil in her car that's leaking. I ran my car, yes, stuff coming out the exhaust pipe, so that was running, got enough to make sure the battery was going to be charged. Checked the boat, voltages, used all left and right and combined, and the time, 20 past 5 BST, looking good. And yeah, the car's okay, so I can turn that off. I'll leave the key in the ignition if anybody wants to steal it. I don't think they will. Not sure it's worth the risk, quite frankly. Yeah, you're reminding myself where we're going, and we decided to go via the Bansals because Jim got a phone call and we thought, yeah, we got 10 minutes spare. I went prepared with a Cornish pasty for my late whatever you call that, evening snack, and down to the village. So first of all, June finds a slot on the yellow line, which she said, well, it's practically legal, and then the slot opened out right outside, so went in there and spent some quality time with Romeo and chatting with Val. And then out in the garden, I went out there, let the women chat amongst themselves. Yes, I like that. And they'd done good work there, but Romeo had been running around on the lawn. Anyhow, I decided to share my pasty. I know I shouldn't, but he looked very hungry. So, yes, I let him have a little bit of my Cornish pasty. Not very much. There you go, Romeo. And there's Raj. Hi, Raj. Yes, I'm there. Yeah, record of my torn trousers. I suddenly noticed. Ooh, I'm not sure whether. And there's dirt on my shirt. That might have been Romeo jumping up. I would certainly blame him. So June said, no, you've got to change that shirt and trousers. So back home. Yeah, there you go. Different shirt, different trousers, and only cost us a few minutes. I think 5 minutes. So we're off. And that was about the time we were planning to leave. So, yeah, passed a few landmarks on the way, including the Windmill Pub. Oh, Luckley Road School! Crikey, that brings back memories, both from my childhood and, of course, recent years I met the guys. Lovely coincidence, that. So we're on our way, and this is to the Farnborough Sixth Form College, and yeah, coming up, plenty of time. They said check in no earlier than 6:30 and by 7 o'clock. So we got there, had a call come in from Paul. Interesting times. So basically, we thought we'd gone into the correct entrance, and it was certainly signed reception, but I just didn't follow any rules. But lovely lady, cleaning lady, said, oh yeah, I'll let you out this end. And yeah, met up with Terry, and yeah, a few snaps there taken. There's the guy who did it. Obviously we brought a load of paperwork away, and what was interesting is the other guys that were there, very well attended. I think I roughly estimate in the ballpark of perhaps 80 people. Yeah, my tracker, anybody could have seen, oh, looks like Robin spent some time down there. Only 10 minutes, quarter of an hour, and there they are. And there he is walking around the Sixth Form College, and then back home, just here. Then I was looking at some videos, and I found that one at the Brooklyn Museum. Listen to the Radio 4 News. Yeah, these things are worth looking at in slower time. Yeah, chat with Paul and checking the boat voltages. It's obviously getting dark now, but it's seeming to hold its power well enough. There you go. And there's Toadie watching. Yeah, the test rig's still working well as well. June's watching something on the TV. Time for bed. That's the end of the photo trail. Wednesday the 25th of September 2024. Starting with a summary of the photos shot that day. Yes, Toadie on guard duty, watching over the robot boat. Yeah, checking voltages, all looking good in terms of the power system on it. And yes, did a little bit of work related to the text-to-speech cap holder. Fingers crossed. Oh yes, delivery of the peanuts. Yeah, the guy from the Caribbean that we knew each other well from previous visits. And yeah, printing off the total deaths. Down to the bandsaws to meet Romeo, but mostly for Belle to drive us out. And by coincidence, we were following Stuart. But not where we went, which is Path Heathrow, and meet the family. And then back home, Sunninghill, and yes, just here. And robot boat still working well. Yeah, it looks like it's coming on to rain. And yeah, June's rustled up dinner for the evening. Take it into the naughty corner with Toadie. Closed circuit TV check. Yes, foxes. And what else? Oh yes, force myself to go down to the Comrades Club with that wobbly snooker ball, and I had a bit of fun with two lads. Yes, and had some of my 0% Peroni, but then came back, and yes, the boat's still going. June's watching the tennis from China, I think that one. Now into the photos in the order they were shot, starting with checking the voltages, and of course I make note of these as well, but I find these photo trails are useful, including the time. There we go, 20 to 10 I think that was. And oh yes, some feathers. Now, does that mean that Toadie had called a pigeon? No, I looked at the closed circuit TV and there were lots of pigeons, and it looked as though it was them. And yes, the squirrel as well. Yes, all checks related to the systems for the robot boat. That was testing a servo to death. Quick look outside. Yeah, checking around the state. Oh, that arm. What happened to that? Yes, put it back in its proper place. Looked on the closed circuit TV, trying to find out how it was that got knocked. Hello, that's Toadie, probably chasing after a mouse, which he didn't catch, I don't think. No. And he'd knocked things, including that arm. Yes. So there we are, all the evidence on the closed circuit TV. Yes. So that was at 13:42 GMT. Yes, Toadie. But the arm was still off the edge there, and then there was some mice come, and then a fox, after the peanuts of course, and so the arm got shifted a bit more, and then a crow, I think that's what it was, and he was after the peanuts as well, but he knocked it was in his way. So that explains it. We know the creatures that were involved. So, a few snaps of the garden. Yes, the grass getting long. Everything's overgrown. Work to be done. It's just a matter of priorities, as I often say. Yeah, down to the bog garden area. A lot of this stuff will be on other photo trails, but it's a snapshot on a particular day. Yeah, back into the untidy games room. Yeah, we'll get round to that sometime with the right sort of help. Yes, what do you do? Yeah, looks like processing of the photo trail video of the day before. June gave me one of her empty bottles, and I thought just the job to replace that cap. Yeah, check the voltages. and I'd managed to lose the cap that went on to cover the text-to-speech outlet. Yeah, coming up to 6 o'clock there. So yeah, I was reduced to going into the workshop area using the right tools. Question of improvising and with what you got. Yes, and including June's blow lamp. Don't tell her. I call it a blow lamp, but it's what she used for creme brulee, I think. Yes. Thank you, June. And yeah, she's watching tennis just for a change. Yeah, so now it was getting things in place, and it's looking as though it's going to job, but that stud that goes down needs to be shorter, because it was making it difficult to slip the thing in place past that text-to-speech outlet. So yeah, all these things going on in parallel, putting the voice commentary on the Tuesday photo trail as I'm doing today, and yeah, here's the delivery of the peanuts. Yeah, we remembered each other from our previous chat. It was only a minute really, but brilliant. Yeah, so use the right tools for the job, put them back in the right place for now. And there's Bentley decided to spend some time near the cat forts. Yes, put the cardboard in the right place, the correct bin, after removing it. Hello, Bentley. It looks as though you want to play. And yes, tennis from China still. June's rustled up, scrambled egg on toast. I put the plastic in the correct bin. Yes, Bentley, that's it. You watch what I'm doing. Yes, and the peanuts there for the moment. And have my scrambled egg. And what are we doing now? Oh yes, surprise, surprise. June sent me a PayPal money request for, yeah, I suppose I better pay it. That was for quite a few things. Right, I found it was a bit difficult, so I went out to the workshop area to saw that stud off, or a nut and bolt it was. Yeah, put it in the right place in the bin. Yes, and that now slips into place. That's the test platform just used, and there's Toadie watching what I'm doing. Yeah, check the voltages again. Obviously depends whether there's any sunlight, which you don't get much of that overnight. That's all looking good. Yes, Toadie, that's it. You keep an eye on the boat, and it's not likely to go away on its own. Yes, put the things back in the right place, but actually that is not putting things back, that's getting it out. That's the silicone sealant around that cap. Fingers crossed that'll do the job. That should be dry by the time we get any rain on it. Put that back in the right place in the workshop area. The wheat sheep, that's where we're going the next day. Listening to the Radio 4 news and updating the COVID page. I call it the COVID page, but in fact the total deaths graph is far more important and of broader interest of monitoring what's happening in in the country. It's not just health related. Luckily it is at the moment. Right, now we're off, walking down to the Bansals. Yes, past that vehicle. Yeah, there's the damage that's been done on it, and also June noticed somebody had smashed into it. Yeah, there's the evidence, and some of the wood had been taken. Might have been different people. So carry on down to the village, and yeah, there's Romeo. Hello, Romeo. And the arrangement is that Bal was going to give us a lift. Yeah, there's the garden, coming along nicely, but there's paw prints everywhere, and the grass is coming up. They only seeded it a little while ago. I'd suggested turf, but well, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, now we're off, and yes, a coincidence of timing, but that was Stuart's vehicle is obviously on his run, and it just so happened by coincidence it was the same route that we're taking. So we carried on further past the wheat sheaf and Holloway College, or University I believe now, and yes, past Heathrow and to our destination, which was part of the Bansal family network. Yeah, there you go. And didn't take many photos in the place. Yeah, on our way back now, past a few landmarks. Yes, there's the airfield, there's the Ferrari place near Egham, there's a blank screen, don't know what happened to that picture. There's a pub, Packhorse, used to be a different name. There's the college, or university. There's the wheat sheaf, pub today. There's the ruins, stolen from Libya I think. Past the Cords Hall, and through the village, past the Comrades Club, and Bell drops us off. So back into the house, check the tracker. Anybody interested could see, oh, that's the total track afterwards, but anybody could see at the time, oh, that's where Robin is. Oh yeah, look, he's going past Heathrow. Oh look, that's where he's stopped. Ah, lovely place that, especially if you look at it on Street View. And yeah, and then back home to where they are, number 22 Armitage Court, just here. Oh, rain radar, yeah, because I was thinking of taking a walk down to the village. So you look at the observation and the predicted forecast. Would it be okay? Hopefully. Yeah, a few checks on the boat. Voltages. The left, right. It is labelled properly, has been for some time. Right, that's all looking good. Rain looks as though it's trying to come on. What else have we got going on? June's watching something there. Oh yes, I'm looking for that, and eventually found it, which was the snowball fight outside the Bansals, and it was on June's YouTube channel. And right, closed circuit TV check for the night before, and there's a glimpse of a little mouse on the front porch coming for peanuts. There's a fox. They're all after the same thing. There's the back at the back, and there's two foxes there at the front, and one relaxing on the doormat while his friend has some peanuts. So that was 0606 GMT when the camera switched to colour for the day. So now running back from midnight. Yes, foxes and foxes every day. Bit blurred that one, not sure what that was. That was probably me. Oh yes, that was yeah, there's Terry. This is going backwards, of course. And 1808 GMT is where the camera switched to black and white for the night. So that's that done. Oh yeah, exchange of email with David Salmons, who's joined us for pub lunch. And yeah, June's watching that. Now I'm going to force myself to have a walk down into the village, and of course I've got that heavy weighted snooker ball or pool ball, white ball with lead in it, in my pocket. So had a lovely game with a couple of lads that I hadn't spoken to before. I think we had a lot of fun with that particular ball before we switched to the proper one, and made my way back. And yes, the boat's still running there. Into the house. June's still watching the tennis from China. Time for bed. So that's the end of the photo trail. Thursday the 26th of September 2024. Starting with a summary of the photos shot. Yes, that's Toadie keeping an eye out from the front window on the boat and any visitors. Yes, so the boat is coming along nicely, just checking the voltages every few hours, and it's holding its voltage on the duplicated power supply. So that's good. Oh yes, so Stuart arrives, and we go to the Wheat Sheaf for our pub lunch. A few photos taken. Yes, we had a new member of the crew, David, and that's David driving me back. Sorry about the poor photo, David. And some of the material we looked at, suggested by others, were videos about things like robot boat stuff, and Terry, of course, was one of the guys. So they left. June's watching the news. I looked at the weather and I thought, wow, there's a chance to shoot the last video to go in there. Fingers crossed. So that's the summary. So now in the photos in the order I shot, starting by going outside, saying yes, better put some peanuts out, and a snap of the garden, see what sort of state it is. Yes, grass coming up, and yes, top up the feeder that's near the second pond. Well, top it up just to put a few peanuts in. So just a snapshot of the garden on that day. And of course rain is brewing. Into the games room, very untidy because of what I've been doing on the robot boat. There's the means of testing a servo to death, put the battery on charge. Yes, there's the bird feeder on the roof, so put some peanuts in that. And yes, all that vegetation, that's in the list of things to be done. Just a question of when we can get help to do it. And yes, that's looking down from the roof. Could see rain coming in. Yes, look at how untidy that room is. Mostly clothes. And I can't take the blame for that. Yeah, back to the games room. And yes, just making sure you've got to see what a state it is. Out to the boats again, check the voltages. The left side, the right side, and the combined power and the time. 5 to 11. They're looking good. So, oh yeah, definitely looks as though it's coming on to rain. I can see it coming in. So, take a look at the websites that show the rain coming in off the radar. And it's a bit of a gamble how you use those sites and how accurate they are. But yes, did the commentary for the video for the day previously, like I'm doing for this. That was for yesterday, Wednesday. June's got the tennis from China on the television, and it looks as though it's coming up to 12 o'clock, so I can relax, expecting a visit from Stuart. And yes, he arrives bang on. Those times are in GMT, don't forget. So Stuart acts as chauffeur, and that's for Richard and myself. Go past the ruins, past Wentworth to the Wheat Sheaf at Virginia Water, which is on the A30. And yeah, Terry's there as well. So we're gathered there, and there's David. And I made some silly mistakes getting David and Mike mixed up. Silly me. Anyhow, some photographs shown that David had brought, and yes, that's a record of what we were eating. Didn't photograph the menu and prices this time. So enjoyable conversations. Then David gave me a lift back, so back past a few landmarks, into Sunninghill, the Cords Hall, the cinema, and yes, you can see it's raining. And past the Comrades Club on the right. And yeah, so luckily the rain had stopped briefly then, so that was pretty well it. Now yes, so there's rain coming in. Now I think these photos, that's them leaving, okay, and there's a few photographs later which are a bit more. So it's now 20 past 4, so went out and checked the boat again, grabbing the chance when I could. And of course these things get written notes, but you know, that's looking good. Yes, there's Toadie decided to come in And yes, there's Tony looking out the window. And yeah, check the tracker. Anybody was interested where I was, or at least my tracker was, yes, they could say yes, he spent some time at the wheat sheaf. And looking at when he was there, you could say, yeah, probably having a lunch there. These are the videos which belonged in the story earlier, but it was suggested I play certain videos for guys who hadn't seen them, particularly Dave. And so that's a sample of pictures to represent it. Yeah, sorry about that one. And there's Terry, who was one of our number. And we also thought, the drone, because they were sat in the room where that drone was tested. And there's a squirrel, live I think, and I'm listening to the Radio 4 News. One of the items was the shape of the Milky Way galaxy. And yeah, just looking at the rain, because I'm thinking, I'll do that introduction and exit for the late September video. Yes, it's coming on to rain there. There's Bentley that's come in. June's watching the news. Yeah, looking at the rain radar again in terms of whether it's going to go through. And the loggers, the outstanding problem area to be sorted. I did a few minutes on those, but the latest information is on blog 11, linked off the Snoopy page, Robot Boat page. And so that's outstanding work to find a working logger solution. Yes, haven't managed to sort that yet. The question is whether I rip that one apart. Anyhow, something else. So that's an outstanding bit of work on the robot boat to be done. Yeah, glance at Snoopy and June watching the news. So now what I'll be doing now, processing the video, and that'll be the next video. So fingers crossed that'll be okay. So that's the end of the photo trail. I warned you they'd be long photo trails. And it's starting to rain. Yes, Bentley, where are you going? They're going up there, are you? I don't think it's much drier up there. Hello, Bentley. So we're going to wrap up here. I suppose, yes, this is where there's enough light to see me by. This is where I'm going to run into clips shot 18 months ago on two subjects. One was the subject of global warming and the prophetic words of James Lovelock, and the other topic is my experiences with the Driver Vehicle Licensing Agency, the DVLA in the UK. And rather than talk about it, let's just go into those clips. So here we are, back in the hall, and I think I started those clips about here. Now what I put on the screen, because global warming is rare in itself, it's something that's been on my Grumpy page for years. The remarkable James Lovelock, who passed away on the 26th of July, his 103rd birthday. I'll read out what this says here. This has been on the Grumpy page for years, not long after the publication of his book, Revenge of Gaia. We can't stop global warming, but we may delay it by a few decades to give us time to prepare for its effects. Vast areas of the world, including as close as continental Europe, becoming arid desert, shrinking of habitable areas of the planet to much smaller parts of the planet, closer to the poles. The Earth will then only be able to support a small fraction of its present population, and there will be a need for massive migration. Places like the UK will remain temperate a little longer, so be an attractive destination. We need all world governments to cooperate to prepare for this inevitability. Also to agree things like reduce use of fossil fuels to give us a few more decades to prepare. And then it goes on. The above is not a quote, but how I remember what James Lovelock said in his book, The Revenge of Gaia, etc. That's been unchanged on my site for years. And right, well, the other thing I should mention, yes, retired, happy and spending that kid's inheritance, is for some time now I've not been able to drive due to, well, several mistakes at the DVLA. And what I will say is that I have new evidence of what happened inside the DVLA, which I won't publish yet because I'm still waiting for the reply to the letter which was delivered by recorded delivery to the head of the DVLA and also other people. So I'll put in at the end of this long video the video that's gone up, me talking about the DVLA, and basically in summary it says I don't want anybody to get into trouble, and that is definitely the case, and resigning is too easy. Problems need to be fixed. But quite honestly, that is a minor thing compared with all the other things that are going on in the world, not least wars, and of course what's in the background and very important is global warming. So let's run into that. Back in 2012.
Seen the launch of a transatlantic sailing attempt this morning in a model boat. Retired NATO scientist Lovelock launched his Snoop Loop from Barton-on-Sea towards the Bahamas. It's already been tested over 5,000 miles on a lake in Berkshire. The model will be steered and tracked through a satellite system and by Snoopy, of course, and it should make the crossing in 6 months, if it survives, that is.
The most important thing of the lot, of course, is Snoopy the Viking, the skipper. I don't think he'd make it otherwise. We've also got another bit and piece here. This is a GPS logger that logs the position every 15 minutes. That was back in 2012. The guy that put this material together, including the live broadcast and what went up on the BBC website, is Ben Moore.
I just worry for Snoopy. Sport now and Hampshire.
Right, on to the next topic. Right. Now, I'm going to do this all in one take. All unrehearsed and unscripted, so sorry about that. What I'd like to happen, if anybody picks up on the DVLA story, is, as I say, nobody getting into trouble, and that's a genuine request, but when they find flaws in procedures where they don't cover certain things, be good if those are fixed. What I think would be useful for anybody looking at the DVLA and perhaps helping them is, first of all, their organisation chart showing the structure. Yes, it's well known who the head of the DVLA, remarkable woman, looking at her CV, and relevant to this story is the head of the health part. But it would be very useful to see, even if names aren't attached, obviously the names can be attached where they're public already, is how many people in each branch, how many people are reporting to how many. So a simple tree would help. I suggest that first of all. Then, perhaps even more important, is how many people working for the DVLA, even if you don't identify the individuals, are salaried by the DVLA excuse me, directly, as opposed to contracted through an agency or a business. That is very important, and we've seen what's been happening in places like the NHS for years. So that comes into the equation in terms of whether money is well spent, and of course the DVLA collects a lot of money, and there are probably other things as well, but as a starting point, I'd hope anybody that responds to this, I can't afford to get overloaded, we've got other things to do, many other things to do, and we'll be taking a holiday, that'll be public, yes. I'm tracked everywhere by different things, and in fact, if anybody's paranoid about it, anybody who's tracking somebody or looking at somebody's probably seen already. But at the end of the day, there's me whittering on, which is one of my main weaknesses since I was a little child. That's why if you put things up, clearly be careful what you put up, and often it can do some good. I'm now in the kitchen, and June's rustling up some food in the microwave for Samantha, and here's Samantha, and of course there's tennis on the television, just for a change. So, oh yes, point out, holidays in we're going off to Sicily again soon, and into the hall. Yes, nice expensive paintings here. Yep, expensive little pocket camera, not expensive. And through into the lounge and out to wrap up this video by saying, look after yourselves, stay safe, and enjoy what days we have. Yes, it's now middle of March 2024, and the pond's changed quite a bit. I'll have to change the copyright statement at the end, but the message is the same. Look after yourselves, stay safe, and enjoy life while we can. Oh yeah, my hair's grown a bit since then.